2006 BMW 325i electric water pump and thermostat replacement. I'm Brian Eslick from Automotive, and we're going to get started. We need to start this job by lifting it up on the hoist and removing the lower shield. So after getting the main shield off, you're going to take this shield off here in the front too. Just hold on these little clips. So remove those. So to get started, what I like to do is put a drain bucket down, and on the back of the water pump right here, I like to go ahead and loosen up the hose clamp and get it and break the seal here and let it drain out right here. And while it's draining, I remove the sway bar bolts here, you know, on the opposite side, and I also remove the power steering bolt hoses here. I just remove the bracket bolt and lets the power steering hoses kind of swing down. So after removing the hose clamp and the hose, pull it back, you know, get it draining. Go ahead and remove and just let everything hang down like so. Now what you're going to do is you're just going to start removing because we're doing the thermostat and water pump on this particular job. So start removing, you know, the hoses. After getting the horseshoe looking hose off, the hose above it is the next one. So go ahead and take that clamp off, and then it's held on up above. Let's see if I'll zoom in on. But up above, so you follow the metal pipe up here, and there's some Torx, female Torx, male Torx actually, and you're going to take those two Torx off and take this pipe off, and also a little further up right here on the above the rack and pinion, there's another hose coming onto it. You're going to remove that hose clamp and remove that hose also. Okay, so this is that hose that was in there. So the pipe was in there, and that's where it mounted up there. And let's see if I can get it to zoom in a little bit for you guys. So it came out, and the tool I had to use was a little wobble socket like so, with an it's like a E8 female Torx bit. So that's the tool you use, and you come in through the rack and pinion, and if you look behind, between the motor mount, you can actually see what you're doing. So that's how you get that pipe out and take the hose clamp. So now that we need to, this is the new thermostat housing here, we need to focus on that. And there's two hoses that have quick connects on them, and we need to get those off. And also there's an electrical connector that we need to unplug that's in there. Okay, so the lower hose is one of them that has the quick connect. So we're going to pop the little tab out, the little quick connect tab out, and then this hose here, it goes up. It also has a quick connect right about there. It's hard to see. So you're going to pop that little quick connect tab out and pop the hose off here and pop the hose off there. And then right underneath, right above the subframe here, is the electrical connector. And you'll pry that down. So once you get the clips out that look like this, that are on the hose clamps, the two hoses, then you get a pry bar and just pry them off, pop them off. After you get that done, on the back side is the electrical connector I was talking about, and it's right there. Now after that's off, you're going to take these two 10mm bolts that are actually mounted onto the water pump, and that will that's the bolts holding the thermostat housing on. So take those out. Now that you got the thermostat housing unbolted, there's still one hose hooked up. If you can maneuver it around where you can get to the clamp and take the clamp out and then pop the hose off. Okay, after you get the hose off the thermostat housing, right here on the where the rack and pinion mounts, it's just one bolt here and one bolt here. Take those two bolts out, and then you can slide the rack and pinion out of its little perch and pull it down just a hair, and then you could fish the thermostat housing out right here. The last step is to unplug the little electrical connector here, and on the back side of the water pump, let's see if I can get to it. You'll see it is the electrical connector here. You'll unplug it there, and you'll take a, let's see, it's a E12 female Torx socket, and you're gonna take the 3 bolts to hold the water pump on. So there's 2 on the bottom, and then 1 just above where the upper radiator hose is. I use a little wobble, and you can get in there, and you take that out, and then you can work the pump out through the back. Okay, so now that we got our pump out, we we're going to reinstall the new pump and remount it. So when we remount it, we're going to use new bolts. These bolts are made out of aluminum, and they're designed to be one-time use only. Okay, when I go to put my pump on, what I do is I kind of start through the electrical connector. I plug it in first and then route it up inside there, and start the two bottom bolts and just run them up till they're snug. And then I put a little piece of paper on the wobble socket and set up here like this. And over here on the top, I kind of move the upper hose out of the way, and right there you can see where the bolt hole is. So with the paper in it, doesn't fall out like that. So then you can route it in there, and you can start the bolt and tighten it down. And when you get them all snugged up, what you do is you torque them down to about 8 to 10 foot-pounds, and that's it. If you go in much tighter than that, they'll snap off. So now that we got the the water pump back in, we're going to put our thermostat housing in and start the one hose that we took off last. Put that hose on first and tighten the hose clamp on, and then we'll route it up into the final position and bolt it back into with the 210. So after starting the hose here and mounting the thermostat back into its bracket and putting the two 10mm bolts back in and plugging our electrical connector in for the thermostat, now it's time to put that pipe back in. So we're going to reinstall this pipe. So now is the time to change the O-ring here, and if any of the hoses need to be replaced, replace them now. So you're going to route it back in there where this is mounted back on the side of the engine block, and put this on the thermostat housing and tighten the hose clamp here. And then with your wobbly sockets, you'll start the torque bits here and torque it all down. Okay, now that we got the metal pipe hooked back on, and we hooked the little hose that went to the metal pipe back on and put the hose clamp on and tighten it down, the last step is to put on the horseshoe hose. So we're going to put that back on and torque on the two pipes from the water pump to the thermostat housing. We'll put that on and tighten it down, and then after that we'll put our rack and pinion back in. After bolting the rack and pinion back into place, go ahead and put the power steering hose back into place and the sway bar. Go ahead and remount that and bolt that back up. So now we need to put the lower, the little vent hose on first. So you'll put the little clip in. The clip will look similar to this one, to the lower one, just a smaller one. You took it out. So go ahead and snap it all the way into the hose clamp, and then push the hose on until you hear it click. And then you want to pry on this, gently without breaking anything, but you want to tug on it to make sure that it's locked into place and it's not going to pop back out. And you'll put this clip back in the lower hose and then snap it onto the thermostat housing, and you'll do the same. You'll pry on it to double check, triple check that this hose locked into place is not going to pop back off. Then after that, we're going to put the lower shields back on, lower the car back down, and fill it up with coolant. So now we're going to take the bleeder screw out right here, and we're going to fill it up with BMW approved coolant until the coolant overflows out of this port here. And then after it overflows out of the port and it's full here, then we'll remove some, and I'll show you how that's done. So you're going to fill it up till the bottle is overflowing like this. Normally I would show you how it's done, but the bobber in this particular one is broken, so I need to order a new bottle, and it won't be here in time to finish this video up. So once it's overflowing like so, you're going to put your bleeder screw back in, and if you look right here on the side of the bottle, it kind of shows you. So you're going to suck it out until this little bobber that floats up. Let's see if I can kind of show you like this. So it'll float up like this. Well, there's a little bubble mark on it. It looks like a little round bubble. You'll see it on yours. You're going to fill it up until that drops down, or suck some out of the fluid out until it drops down to where it's floating level with the bottle here, the bottle top. So in this case, I'm going to just suck some out and probably have to get this customer back and to replace the bottle. So after bleeding the expansion tank bottle here out, bleeding the air out and sucking it down to the proper level, most likely you're going to have to clear the engine codes. Most likely that's the reason why you were changing the water pump in the first place. it sets an insufficient coolant code. So go ahead and clear the check engine lights if it has them. Start the car up and run it. And you want to run it, and you want to check your operations of your electric cooling fan. And then after that, and the thermostat opens up in the bottom, and test drive it and recheck for leaks, and you are done with this job. I'm Brian Eslick from How To Automotive, and I'd like to thank you for watching my videos, and also remind you to subscribe.